Inconvenience, ladies and gentlemen. We had a slight production issue, but now we're back. You're not missing anything with us. We are still at the 25-second mark right here. The teams are fanning out. They're looking to not invade at the moment in this first game. Braum could be an indicator for an invade normally, but it doesn't look like they want to risk that level 1 coin flip.
Yeah, and Braum Trundle is really strong at level 1 invades, but and so is Ezreal, but they're not risking it. And it would be really interesting to see the early ward setups from both teams to see the read on the jungler, because for the Nocturne is really important to make sure that the Lee Sin doesn't sway any lane too hard. Even though right now, like Sneagle and Imoke are just like chilling in mid lane.
Minions have spawned.
Alright, minions have spawned. No deep wards port away at all yet. The 5-point start preventing that from both sides. So no additional information on the junglers for now for any of the teams.
Yeah, but and I think that should indicate a standard start from either side, aka a leash from bot lane. But Sneagle is doing the otherwise. He's starting from red, which can catch him off guard if there is no ward setups. But that means that the first gank of BBU Academy is gonna go towards the Argon, who can like sway the lane really hard in his favor, like with wave manipulation.
Alright then, both junglers starting on red side, parallel jungling for now. None of them are opting for the Krugs either. So I'm really interested to see if they are looking for any level 3 ganks or if the Nocturne, as is usual for Nocturne, just wants to get level 6 as quickly as possible. See some trading in the top lane, as you said. It is Trundle favored for the early stages of the game, especially with that press the attack on him. Shen will try to sustain a little bit with that grasp of the Undying, but for now he's drawing the absolute shorter end of the stick.
Yeah, and that is the problem with going grasp. Like you just get too eager to proc grasp and you think you win this fate. But the Trundle is just gonna catch you out and keep like attacking you, and proc and press the attack early on in the game is really devastating. And one thing I really want to note out is that Dark Weave has started 3 potions instead of a refillable against Thingy. That is a sign of respect, but that is also a sign that he wants to get the longsword early on so he can scale on brutality ASAP.
Alright, the top lane is now trading. Level 2 Organized Crisis dropping very low, has to flash away. Solo flash force from the Argod. This Trundle pick already paying off on level 2.
Yeah, and it's gonna be just the fact that Organized Crisis needs to survive, not leash that much XP early on. It doesn't matter if he's like 10, 20 CS behind in the grand scheme of the skirmish that they would want to use Shen inside of. But yeah, you don't want him really set too far behind, and so far both junglers are doing really standard clears. Albeit Sneagle is a bit faster, traditionally of Nocturne than Lee Sin. So it's really interesting to see, like, especially that the wave is gonna reset right now in top lane. There could be some activity there from
Darkweave so far doing a good job of pushing in the Vel'Koz. Not the easiest thing to do if you're in a melee versus ranged matchup. So far, though, Darkweave doing well. Both junglers are on 1 crab. Nocturne's already recalling having finished his. The top side crab also almost done by the Lee Sin. Trundle has reset as well, not opting to teleport to lane, while Nocturne cancelled his own recall to go for a mid lane gank. Stingy, though, has the instinct to walk topside towards his Lee Sin, so nothing happening here. Fresh Princess taking quite a bit of poke here from this Kai'Sa Karma combo, which is quite potent.
Yeah, and it is probably gonna be like Karma favored early on, unless Fresh Princess and Yang can find the all-out engage. But in this slight war of attrition, it should be favored to the Kai'Sa and Karma, just due to how obsessed.
Oh no, Organized Crisis getting ganked here by the Lee Sin. QQ follow up, first blood for Imoke. Just coming in from behind, that was fairly easy for him. No ward in the tri-brush from Organized Crisis means an easy kill for Lee Sin. 5 minutes almost played now. They're on the board.
Yeah, and Organized Crisis had both of his wars in his trinket inventory. And the wave was, as I just said a bit ago, was so pushing into VR God, which made the gank for Imoki really easy. And that is the strength of like early game, you can like manipulate the wave in that sense. And I think the thing that should have happened is Sneagle should have tried to like shove the wave in with Crisis instead of like finding something in the mid. But that was really well played from him. Okay, VR got really connected.
Right then. Looks like bot lane is being pushed in here, and Organized Crisis already having to taunt over that pillar. Pardon me. Not the easiest lane to play right now, especially now that you're behind a kill. Luckily for him, BR only got the assist, so not as much gold as there could have been. Needs to use the wards he's got in his inventory though, because still complete vision control on the top side looks blue. And if Emoke decides to pay another visit to the top lane, so far Organized Crisis would not be won.
Yeah, and I think Organized Crisis is just gonna like try to buy as much time as he can to 6. He's already like quarters away in there. And there seems to be like, see the way that Sneagle is moving, he's like skipping his camp. They're gonna try to set up vision for the first raid, which is the Inference.
Alright then, we keep seeing some trading here. Waves in an about even state for now, but it looks like Crisis is going to have the push. Not ideal, but Biargot just turned level 6. He doesn't have a lot of mana, and not even enough to press his R button here, so Crisis fairly safe at the moment. A Trundle without mana can just hit you with the club. Not the most threatening thing in the world, as long as he's just got an assist. So Crisis will be a bit safer at the moment.
Yeah, and one of the weirdest things is that Dark Creep is having a lot of priority on Stingy. That shouldn't really be the way that it's happening. But it is really just like VR God bailing out the Bias Academy right there by having insane prior and like the kills they had on the end.
Oh, here comes Paranoia! They get the tethers onto Braum. He gets exhausted, pushes the flashes away, but that does not save them. Couchy with the kill. And so it's a 1-2-1 on the board, 500 gold lead for Sacramentum.
Indeed, and really good target prioritization there, just to not go for the SVL. You know that he has both the Arcane Shift, the Flash, and the heal. And just going for Stretch Princess, who already was flashes from an earlier trade. Which is really good on the side of Sneagle. And that is gonna even up the gold right now. And as you can see, like, they're trying to find something on the top side. The God has fallen back.
Alright then, they're still trying to freeze the lane here, denying Ezreal some CS while they're 2v1 here. Looks like Stingy is going to make an expedition towards the bottom side of his lane, but only to put a ward in the Pixel Brush. It looks like they missed that ward in the Dragon Pit though, so they're not daring to take it, I assume, because they have normal wards there. They should see that those are disabled. Just not daring to go forward, not knowing where the Nocturne is right now. Especially with that Shen ultimate now available for Sand United, such a big ability. Able to cross the whole map towards one teammate, but now Emote is in the bot side of the map. This could look like a dragon setup fairly soon.
It looks like it, but there's gonna be a fair bit before Sneagle is gonna come to the Dragon Pit. He still has his Raptors, he's doing his red and his blue that's coming up. And he really is trying to accelerate right now. He's already like 2 camps ahead on Lee Sin, and that's gonna be 3 as he clears much faster. And I think that like Sacramentum is really gonna play around the dragon setup right now. They have good fire in the bot lane, they get a lot in the kill. Ezreal is set a little bit behind, and right now he's stagnant because he only has his Sheen. So that just sounds like the perfect time for Sacramentum to try to force something around the dragon.
Alright then, let's see if they dare to pull the trigger here as Nocturne is entering the bot side of the map. Paranoia is going to be available very soon again, so this could be their go button. Paranoia with Stand United together, immensely powerful combination of ultimates.
Indeed, it's Paranoia, Stand United, and then you can have like a Mantra Inspire from Karma, and that is something that is really hard to get away from. And right now the top lane is stabilizing, and you can see like they're trying to force the setup, and this is the like ideal scenario for Sacramento.
Yeah, they have complete vision control there. Look at this, 3 pink wards. They have one behind the Dragon Pit, behind the red buff, one in the Dragon Pit, and one in the River Bush. But now Organized Crisis is in big trouble here. VR got chasing him away. But now could the return damage come in? The Grasp of the Undying Croc doing a lot of work here to dissuade more chase, despite VR having used his own ultimate. The Dragon though has been picked up. It wasn't Infernal one. Next one's going to be Cloud. So we're either going to have a Mountain or an Ocean Soul in this game.
Thankfully for Sacramentum, they have a good win condition, because if it was a Cloud Soul, that would have really sucked for them. And yeah, like Dragon control is gonna be really important. They still have control over bot lane. And thing is, VR God wastes his ultimate, but for no value. Like he tried to get a solo kill, he didn't get it. Eventually, Organized Crisis will reset, and he still have his ultimate. And there is a lot of activity towards the top side. BBU Academy got the Herald, and it would be really interesting to see where they put it.
Yeah, they put it on Braum, interestingly enough. So it looks like it's going to be a bot lane, maybe a mid lane setup with that Rift Herald. For now, Stingy is getting gifted the blue buff by his jungler, and this Vel'Koz is going to start ramping up very, very soon.
Yeah, and he's starting to ramp up his tier as well, which is gonna like make him basically an auxiliary mage without any mana restrictions essentially. And you can see like he's already like capable of just like insta clearing the wave with just a single rotation, which is gonna be really annoying for the Zed that wanna try to find like any roam or anything around the map, because he can't find anything on Stingy. Stingy's playing really reserved and the bot lane is pushing hard.
Yeah, this bot lane has been pushing relentlessly. Mieko and Kauchi doing very well here. About one wave up in CS, they got that kill earlier with the help of Nocturne. The gold of that sits on Kauchi, not the most ideal target to have the gold, but bigger Karma shields are never a bad thing, I'd say.
Indeed, and the thing is, like, Karma is really good to get some gold on early on, even though it wouldn't be the most ideal thing. But it's good because like a lot of the support mythics are cheaper, so getting the 300 gold is a really big spike to a 2600 gold item compared to a 3400 mythic for most marksmen and mages. So like it's not the worst thing really. And as you can see, like Karma's able to just control the lane with just a lot of Qs and Brenda's inspires.
Oh, Bjargot chasing Organized Crisis again. He has taunted through the pillar, so no taunt available for now. Gets the W off though for a really good trade, but here comes another bite from Bjargot. He wants that solo kill. He's not gotten it earlier, but now he gets an Organized Crisis to an insult to injury, flashes away right as the auto attack's already killing him. That's a double win for Bjargot with a solo kill in the top lane.
Yeah, and this is just the accumulation of what has happened. The Subjugate came back exactly in the right time. Probably Organized Crisis didn't think it would come so soon, and it was just a really big factor in the team fight. Organized Crisis maybe just a little bit too assured in himself because he thought the Subjugate was down, but it was really good like knowledge from PR got to know, hey, like I have this, I know my ultimate is gonna come back up. I can just like try to fake him out, and he did that really well.
Yeah, and he's got 3 plates now as well. That is a rich troll. He's about 1400 gold ahead of Organized Crisis at this moment. And now they're pushing in the mid lane. Remember, the Braum does have the Rift Herald here. Gets summoned. They're going to get this mid lane tower 13 minutes into the game. There is no counterplay. Paranoia is used still. Can they make anything happen? They get the tethers onto the Lee Sin. He's nearsighted, but the knockup from Vel'Koz does a lot of work here. The taunt comes in with the Sam United. The Shen has joined in, so they get the kill onto Unmo. The ultimate from Vel'Koz, not doing all too much, but Trundle has come in with the teleport. Bjargot gets the kill on Darkweep. They're going to get Organized Crisis on the back of this. He does get the kill onto Braum. Will fall for his efforts, so it's a double kill for Trundle. The 2v2 overall when it comes to the kills, and both teams make their move in the mid lane.
Yeah, and that is a really big win for BBU Academy. They just got the whole first turret with all the plates as well, and they got a good team fight. Better than they should have hoped for, because both Stand United and the Paranoia were used. And that was just really good execution from BBU Academy to like play on the reset timers of the Zed and play the fact that Jungle still have camps in the jungle. And you can see, like BBU Academy know what they're doing. They're suffocating the camps away from Snake's Life. Trying to make sure that like they don't have time to breathe, and they're trying to make sure that they don't get enough time to ramp enough dragons for it to be a threat to their Leviathan.
Yeah, and this Trundle is absolutely huge right now. He's got 5,600 gold total, 1,200 in his pocket, so when he recalls he's going to have a big boost of stats. With that, he's almost 2,000 gold ahead now of his direct lane opponent. He's the richest player in the game. About a kill richer than his mid laner, and about 800 gold richer than Darkweep, who's the player with the most gold on the side of Sacramentum. So this Ice Troll, absolute menace right now. King of the trolls.
Yeah, and he's just gonna be left unanswered because I don't think anybody in Sacramento can answer him solely except for the bot lane. He's getting the first turret, but in exchange for the second dragon for Sacramento. And that could really be scary for Blue Bias Academy if they can find the third dragon. Because that would be like really dangerous if Sacramento gets the soul. But also like Bill Bias Academy is in a good place, like a really good place right now because like from third dragon onwards, with how far ahead they've gotten and how far ahead the Gargot is.
Well, this could be a big taunt here. Organized Crisis dodges the E as well from the Vel'Koz, but the ultimate will dissect him. The life form disintegration ray, meaning that Shen has to go back to the fountain, pays for over-aggression with his life.
Yeah, and maybe the Shen is just not tanky enough. He got in there, he got the taunt, but it wasn't just enough. He still got blasted by the Vel'Koz.
Yeah, maybe they thought it was only Emoke there to steal the red buff, but nope, there's a giant eye with some tentacles and lasers to kill you dead. And so another kill goes to the side of BBU Academy. This Vel'Koz is now ramping up. He's already finished his on his hourglass. He's also got plated steel caps just to survive. But Zed and or Nocturne Burst, which are really his main threats in this game, especially with that Zonya, is going to be really well adjusted.
Yeah, speaking of boost, Fresh Princes have swiftness, not steel caps, which is kind of bewildering. Yes, I understand he's not a priority target, but steel caps has a lot of insane value right now against this comp. It has Zed, Kaisa, Shen, and Nocturne. All of them are auto attack based, like carries. So boost to swiftness is not the best choice, and the second Herald is gonna go to the Bias Academy as well. I'll be interested to see where that one goes. I think we're gonna give it to Viargo so Imoki can keep his ward trinkets, and they've done so. And yeah, the difference between Sacramentum and Bill Bias Academy right now is that Bill Bias Academy managed to take the advantage that VR has and translate it into a kill, a turret, and a first turret in mid lane. While Sacramentum had a big advantage in the bot lane, but they couldn't really convert it to that. So that's really well played by both Diana's Red Princess to like neutralize the danger of the Kaiser farming.
Killer and Subjugate Force, Organized Crisis flashed, and he will still die under the tower. That's the rampage for Biargo. Meanwhile, Vel'Koz has been attacked by two people, but the Lee Sin kick over the wall, and we cannot follow up on the damage. Stingy used both summoners here, but does survive. Now Rifthold summoned in the top lane where Crisis is not alive to defend the tower. This will surely mean another one. The Argod is absolutely massive. Stormatron, he got the flash later with the tethers onto the Vel'Koz, gets knocked up into the air, but Stingy might still die, he will! Takes Karma with him, but now it's a 3v1 chase in the topside river. They have to return to the base though, as Trundle has already taken the inhib tower. The inhibitor will be next charge from the Herald, and the inhib falls. Now the Argod, all he has to do is run away as fast as his trolley legs will take him, because Kaisa and Zed are chasing. They are not going to get there though. So Inhibitor at 18 minutes 20 seconds for the side of Bill Bias Academy, and the lead keeps growing, more than 4,000 gold now.
Indeed, it is 1-for-1, but it's a really losing line for Sacramento. I just think they thought, hey, we can't match this Trundle, so let's try to find something otherwhere. And yes, it's only a single kill, but a single kill on Kaisa is really big in this matchup. And it's still a winning line for BBU Academy either way. And as you can see, like, there's already the Zonya that's just rushed first on the Vel'Koz, and Divine Thunder that's already on Trundle, and the Randuin's Omen.
He's got
Trundle
two
is absolutely huge.
He's got two items already. Shen just barely has his Titanic Hydra. He's got 600 gold in his pocket, not even tier 2 boots. And look at how fit this Trundle is. Meanwhile, Couchy gets engaged on. He's been caught. The Send United will not save him. Shen can't even join. But Organized Crisis is honestly probably happy that Couchy died before he could arrive there, because that would have surely been his own death sentence.
Yeah, and these are really big cooldowns.
Seconds.
These are really big cooldowns blown by Sacramentum right there. The Stand United is still a really long cooldown right now. It's 140 seconds. That is just wasted right there. And I guess you can see, like, they're posturing up for a dive from the Zen in the bot lane. The only T1 tower that's remaining.
Yeah, they've got 4 people there. I don't think Darkweave is any way out when they decide to pull the trigger. Here they come. Darkweave's under his own tower. He has absolutely no escape. He will fall. Biargot is unstoppable on the Trundle. And they're going to get this tower as well. They keep snowballing their lead. Trundle is absolutely everywhere on the map where they need him to be. Now Dragon in 5 seconds will surely be theirs. And Vel'Koz all going wide here. Mieko could try to chase, goes forward with that Gale Force, goes in with the ultimate, but here comes the Paranoia as well. The Ezreal ultimate tagging both Couchy and Mieko, who's dropped incredibly low. They can't keep chasing all 5 members of BBO Academy there to defend their mid laner. And they're not going to get anything in return for this Dragon. BBO Academy are going to be happy with this one. Their lead now beyond 5,000 gold.
Yeah, and it is a really big winning line for BBO Academy yet again. They couldn't get anything in return, Sacramentum, and they're just being pushed around. And it's just a matter of whether they can stall long enough for like Mako and Full Sneagle to get the items, but it's not even that anymore. Like, with the Ocean Breaks especially coming in, the lethals for both Sneagles and Darkweave are gonna be ruined if BBO Academy can get an Ocean Soul, but I really doubt it will get that long, because as you can see, like, the Argot is absolutely immense. He took the lead that he got from the Shen, and he's running the game amok with it.
Yeah, the gold he's got total is over 9,000! And that means it's over 2,000, it's over 1,500 more than Mieko has, who is by far the richest player on the side of Sacramentum. And that is a Trundle that is going to be extremely tough to kill. He's already got Plated Steel, Kaz, Remnant's Omen, and the Warden's Mail in addition to that. So he's looking to go for the Frozen Heart, I assume, here.
Indeed, yes. And it is a really good purchase, because
I would have expected
he got Lethal Tempo on Nocturne, he got Blaze on Kaisa. That is really big attack reduction on the actual sustained damage of Sacramento. Because the only thing that they have other than these two are the bursts and dead. But he doesn't really care for that, and his team doesn't really care for that, because they're at a point where they can just survive. And BR God is just going again.
Yeah, it doesn't care about anything right now. Chases Starweave away from the minions. And it looks like BBOA are preparing for a take of Baron Nashor. And it's not looking like there's all too much that Sacramentum can do about it. Baron has been engaged now, they've got the port in the pit, so they know about this. The question is, can they do anything? Zed is not here. Organized Crisis does have the Stand United available, but against 4 players, despite the weakest not being there. Couchy's almost already dead! Uses his own shield just to survive here after that true shot barrage from Ezreal hit him. Meanwhile, Biargon is just chasing Darkweave away. He doesn't care about this Baron take himself. Fresh Princess is taking a lot of damage now from the Here comes the Paranoia. They're jumping spell. She comes in and it steals the Baron. That's a win. Kill as well coming in onto Fresh Princess. Now in the pit, there's an absolute bloodbath. Meanwhile, Biargon takes another solo kill for himself. Overall, BBO Academy come out this on top, 3, 2, 1 in kills. The Baron has been stolen, but they still got more bodies on the map, and so Biargon is going to keep taking towers wherever he pleases.
Yeah, and he's gonna do what he pleases. He is the king of troll right now. He is the king of the trolls. Nobody can stop him. It is really important that like Sacramento got this Baron. The game would have been instantly over. Right now they still have a fighting chance for the last hurrah. But it is looking grim. It's looking really grim. It's 5-1 and 2 on Stingy right now. He's absolutely huge in the Vel'Koz. It's 6-0 and 2 in the Argon. It just looks like there's nothing that they can do, because the frontal is really a thorn in what the comp of Sacramento is trying to do.
Yeah, absolutely. He's just doing what he wants right now on the map. He's finished the Frozen Heart now. So he's now got 250 armor. He's got the passive from the Frozen Heart, reducing attack speed of nearby enemies by 20%. He's got the Randuin's Omen, that also will reduce the attack speed of enemy attacks. And yeah, it's not looking good. This Trundle looks pretty unkillable right now, and he's also doing tons of damage with the help of the Divine Sundra, which Mythic passive gives him armor and magic penetration. And the Vel'Koz can just sit back in the fights along with the Ezreal and shoot out spell after spell after spell.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know if BR God knows this or not, but the Rock Solid passive really doesn't stack from both Randuin and Frozen Heart. Like the critical strike production from Randuin and Winter Caress are two different passives, so they work together. But he doesn't get extra damage production daily. But yeah, like you can see, like Torment is already finished, the fully stacked tier, and 8 Dark Seal stacks on Thingy. A fully stacked tier as well on the Ezreal of Yan, and it's just looking really grim for Sacramentum. It seems like it's just a matter of time unless they can like secure a couple of miraculous like Dragon Steals or like get a clean fight or a clean pick somewhere. But it doesn't look like BBO Academy is giving them the window to get a pick. If anything, it looks like BBO Academy are the one that's gonna angle for a pick right there in the mid lane.
Yeah, they're going to get collapsed on here. They wanted to take this mid lane turret, which they will get. Can they get away? Yes, the Karma speed up will help them. But the Ocean Dragon is alive. Here comes the teleport into the top lane. They want to defend that tower. It's Stronghold versus 2. Can Nigel and Organized Crisis do anything? The other have already taken half of Nigel's HP. Here comes the taunt. Can they get something? The fleeing in addition, but Nigel already has taken so much damage. Sun United will only keep him alive longer, but that means there's no damage onto him. The Dragon has been taken. Meanwhile, they're chasing the enemy team away. Crisis has to taunt away from the pillar, and Piagot 1v2 chases enemy top and jungle away.
Yeah, and as you can see, like Trundle is insanely strong right there. You would think that Ishan and Nocturne should be good to counter Trundle because most of his attacks are auto attacks, and he got like the fear from Trundle from Nocturne, and he got the block from Shen, but it wasn't enough. Bjargard is just way too tanky, way too strong. The subjugate is way too oppressive. You don't have enough sustain damage to out-sustain him.
Alright, now they're sieging onto the mid lane. Everyone's still alive on both sides for now. And since only 2 Ocean Dragons so far on the side of BBO Academy, Sacramentum have some time yet before the Ocean Soul comes in. So I have to say, if they get a full Dragon Ocean Soul on themselves, this game is basically over. Also, this is a start, the phase of the game where it really hurts them that they don't have a mage mid laner, but a Zed. Because Zed wants to side lane, because he's not the strongest champion in a team fight. He gets blown up so easily, right? There's also already a Zamius on the Velcro, so he can't really ult that one either. But you cannot side lane against this Trundle at the moment. He's just way too far ahead. So what are they going to do with this Zed?
Yeah, that is the thorn of picking like an 80th assassin in the current meta. Like,
oh no, look at this. The rifle and disintegration ray already finding the kill almost onto Couchy. Now the paranoia is used defensively, but he goes in, gets exhausted and kicked away immediately. Darby tries to stab this. They get the kill onto the Trundle, and somehow they find a win in this fight. 3 stacks onto Organized Crisis. The 4th one comes in. Nigel wants this chase. Rush Princess gets the stun with the broad passive though, and Singy's on a rampage. Now the fight is full on. Everybody's doing a lot of damage here. Miako's on a rampage, killing the Ezreal. This could be the fight that we're looking for. Couchy is still alive somehow. They get more kills. Triple kill for the Valkos. He's carrying this team fight. 100% quadra kill for Stingy. Doesn't get the Penta for now as Starweave is too far away. But it will look like a very, very scrappy fight. Still in the end goes to BBU Academy. And I do think not to the smallest part due to these 2 Ocean Dragons healing them up.
yeah, and it was just a really scrappy fight there. BR got overextended and got picked off under the 2 tower turrets. And you first think that, oh, like Mako's carrying this, but just Stingy out of nowhere just evaporates everyone in Sacramento. That was really close right there.
And he didn't even have the ultimate because he had used it way earlier onto Couchy. Just almost killing the Karma but doing no damage to anyone else. But this should give hope to Sacramentum a little bit because they were 5,000 gold behind, right? They had already lost 2 inhibitors. They still found an angle where they could almost win a fight. So they should still hope to have maybe a shot at winning this game. If they steal another Baron maybe. If they somehow get a 3rd Dragon that could threaten Soul.
Indeed, but
they still have options. Make it extremely strong.
Hard because the setup right now is in favor of BBU Academy. Like they're trying to walk into a Vel'Koz and an Ezreal that is a 9-1 and 2 and Karma is left stranded.
Yeah, Couchy here got caught here. Can the speed ups get him away from this? Lee Sin gets the resonating strike though, gets the E. Can Couchy get away? He gets the slow, gets the tethers, but here comes Biarga, just auto attacks him. Meanwhile, they're trying to catch the Velcros. We just go Golden, Nigel's dead, Kaiser's dead, legendary Stingy. Darkwave tries to do everything he can, but not even with the Sand United can he survive the damage that Stingy brings onto him. After the quarter, he gets the triple, and that was just too over-eager from the side of Sacramentum, and I think demise this game is over here.
Yeah, the game is over. As you can see, like everybody from BBO Academy is just running for the base. It's just nothing but over. Like, Chen can't do anything. And this was the ideal scenario. Like, see, they got the pick on the Karma. Like, the Zonnea was too strong. Like, Sacramentum doesn't have the lethals to force anything in this stage of the game. And this is the perfect scenario for BBO Academy. Just outplaying, using the advantage of the Trundle to their best extent, and the game is just over because they can translate the lead that Sacramentum couldn't do in the bot lane. They couldn't match that. It was a really good execution from BBO Academy.
Yeah, also Stingy absolutely clinical in the team fights. Always managing to somehow survive them and dealing so much damage with these AoE abilities. Overall in the game, 23,000 damage from the Vel'Koz. Even a good 7,000 more than his very fit Trundle teammate did.
Dude, absolutely enormous. Yeah, it looks like Sacramentum has a good idea to how to match Bilbao Academy's comp. But in the end, like mid lane was just a snooze fest with farming, and top lane got snowballed super hard. And like that fight in mid lane over the first turret at minute 13 was the tipping point that Bilbao Academy has found. They've got a small lead on to Stingy, and they got the kills, and they just kept their foot on the pedal the whole time. And you couldn't find a breathing room. Like every breathing room that Sacramentum has had has been from a little bit of an overextension from Bilbao Academy, which to their credit, Sacramentum has done a really good job, especially like in the last fight before the Baron. They almost won the fight. Mako almost carried. He had a really good effort there. But the lead was too big. It was a 5k gold deficit even before that fight. And like maybe they'll try to find another answer to what the control mages of Stingy and the lane dominance of VR God is finding. But we just have to wait till game 2 to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah, I think one of two things need to happen. Either they need to find a winning top lane matchup, which would mean not blind picking top lane, or you try to ban out Stingy and see if he is as strong as with the Vel'Koz and the Victor on other champions, like maybe the Orianna or a different control mage that is just not quite as zone controlling as the Victor and Vel'Koz, and see if you can get better control over the battlefield. But yeah, we'll see how they adapt in game 2. It's still only 1-0 so far. BBU Academy is not completely undefeated in the split yet, but Sacramentum will do everything in their power to change that in game 2. We'll see you in about 5 minutes. Don't touch your browser. Right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Valence League Division 3A. I'm still Motojo, still here with Demise, and yeah, that was a clinic put on by Rubio, especially the top side of the map, working extremely well together to snowball the lead that Yargod had gotten in the very early stages of the game. And now we're going to game two. Everyone has full bans this time, and we're racking our brains how Sacramentum can bring this one back.
Yeah, and we're gonna see like can they answer the dominance of VR God is shown, and can they answer the stability of Stingy right there in the mid lane? Because like last time they tried to attack the weak points of the comp, which is the immobility of the control mage, but they didn't have the window because VR God absolutely shattered top lane. So I'm gonna like we need to see like what they're gonna do, and it's weird because banned Vel'Koz themselves.
To be fair, Darkweave does play the Vel'Koz too. Um, but I still think it's a bit weird, yeah, because Vel'Koz is still Stingy's second most played champion in solo queue by a long while, and he just absolutely destroyed on it last game. Now we'll see what the answers are going to be. Ziggs is first picked here. Do you think it's going to bot lane?
Most likely, it's gonna retain its flex potential. I think Mako has been playing Ziggs in the bot lane recently, which is really strong. Not Mako. Mako. Yeah, Mako. I think Mako's been playing it recently, and it's gonna be like really good to see, like, because it has really strong flex potential. Because now you can screw over the R5 counter pick or the R3 counter pick, depending on like the status. And Trundle again from BR God, it just seems to enjoy running people over.
Yeah, this time he's going with the blind pick Trundle because I do assume Jarvan to go into the jungle, which means we are going to have Bjargot on the Trundle again. Now the question is, does Organized Crisis have a counter pick for that? Does he have something where he's confident he can win lane, or is it just going to be a safe pick to sit back? We're about to see, I think, 4 seconds to pick, and here comes Organized Crisis's famed Urgot lock-in.
Yeah, and Urgot can have a really good time into the Trundle if you can just space him out and only engage whenever you want. And that would be really interesting to see, like, if Crisis can handle BR God this time better on a champion that he's much more comfortable on than the Shen.
Right, then let's
And
see
we're
what...
waiting for the third pick, and it's hovering the Leona.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. Very good CC, works well with the Ziggs or with the traditional AD carry. And it's just a very powerful pick at the moment in general, as she is mostly in the bot lane. A champion with this much CC, especially with the long range engage that Solar Flare offers, will never be all too far away from the metagame. And here's the Thresh as the answer.
Yeah, and Thresh is the perfect counter to Leona. Like, you can always play every Zenith Blade if you have the timing set up correctly. And we're gonna see, like, the second set of bans. You can, right here, try to pinch junglers on the side of Sacramentum, but they seem to be pinching mid laners in attempt to move Ziggs to mid with the Zareth ban.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense as well. Anivia and Vel'Koz already banned two very farm-style control mages in the mid lane, similar to Xerath. Orianna banned on the other side, so they keep trying to pinch Stingy's champion pool, maybe get him away from control mage, from the control mages, which he is so good on.
Yeah, and there comes the Diana ban. They're also pinching the jungle pool, and it's gonna be really interesting to see how that goes. Because right now there's a lot of pinch on Stingy, there's a lot of pinch on Sneagle, and we're gonna be interested in what's happening.
Right then, Nico is the final ban, another champion that could be played as a control mage, another champion that Stingy has played in solo queue among his most 7 or 8 played champions. But it's looking like they could still be thinking about a not all too traditional mid laner. However, on the gangplank again, since Trundle and Jarvan are locked again already, not too late, the gangplank comes in, and it is the Vayne in the bot lane.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like on one hand, it's good into the Urgot and Leona, but on the other hand, Vayne struggles into Ziggs in the bot lane. So it's gonna be really interesting to see that now with most of the comp of Bilbias Academy like shown over, because it doesn't really matter what kind of mid laner you pick right now. What would Sacramentum go for?
Um,
Oh, the
a
Master Yi.
spicy one. Master Yi for Cole Snigel. Very confident it seems on that pick because it's not a pick we've seen all too much of, either in the division or the league in general. Of course, does have huge pop-off potential if you get an early lead.
Does have that, and it also does have one really important factor. It gives a sustained DPS factor to Sacramentum's draft, which doesn't have anything. It has the poke of Ziggs, but that is reliant on him landing skill shots,
Wait,
and that is the only actual DPS, and that's the Gragas mid lane AP.
yeah, I was wondering, is this Gragas mid or is it Master Yi mid? Because both of those not traditional mid lane champions at the very moment. We're going to see once they start swapping champions. A very, very interesting draft here from Sacramentum. Answer for Stingy is going to be the Cassiopeia and then the zone control mid lane mage. We're used to seeing these champions from him. He's extremely good on them, as we just saw with the Vel'Koz in game one. And now we're going to see it is the Gragas mid Ziggs bot. And with the comp that they have, they don't really have any ranged physical damage. Though on the other side, not as tanky a comp as the first time. If the Trundle doesn't get ahead as in the first game, they could have a shot of winning team fights if Snigel manages his Q timings well on the Yi.
Yeah, they can, and this just put a point of like pressure on the academy right there. Stingy needs to have the power to be able to like hold them back and control the side of Sacramentum because yes, they don't have any ranged physical carry, but the only like Granny is really short range, and you have a lot of AOE on the side of Sacramentum to shut her down, and you have a lot of lockdown potential with the Leona, with the Gragas that can go and probably will go Everfrost. So like the only like really reliable source of like mid range engage like damage response to what Sacramentum have is the Cassiopeia. She needs to control the fort. She needs to keep the Gragas at a safe distance. She needs to keep the Leona. The Miasmas need to be there to stop any like Zenith Blade from any weird angle. And once again, is gonna probably ride on the top lane and can and whether or not BR God or Organized Crisis can sway the lane or tip the scale on which favor,
Yeah,
whether
we
it be
should not forget
Sacrament on the
though.
blue side or Bill Bias on the red side.
Yeah, we should not forget though that Jarvan Cassiopeia is an extremely annoying combo to deal with. If you are in the Jarvan ult and the Miasma gets dropped on top of it, you have no way out. You're just sitting ducks for the damage of Cassiopeia and Vayne. A very traditional three front, two backline comp as well again from BBU, this BBU Academy. This seems to be what they are going for every game. Very different comp though from Sacramentum on the other side. Uh, with the Ziggs and Master Yi, I guess, as the carries. Interested to see what build Darkweeb decides to go on the Gragas. Does he go more bursty? Does he go a little bit more tanky, for example, with the Everfrost to just lock down these two carries? Because if you can kill Cassio or Vayne at the start of a fight, you're going to have an extremely good time, I think, unless the Trundle gets overly fed.
Indeed, but the thing that I'm also really interested in is whether Sneagle is gonna go lethality on the E or is he gonna go on hit with like Kraken Slayer or Shield Bow. And that can like put a lot of strain because if you're playing lethality E and you just like clip the vein on Nian with an alpha strike, that would be really dangerous. And the thing is, Sneagle mostly plays Duskblade on the E, and the potential of an insane damage burst from an Alpha Strike or with comboed with like a Leona engage or just a random Ziggs bomb or anything can really burst the vein up. And the Cassiopeia is also like not that much better until she gets her Zonias.
Yeah,
So yeah,
true.
like, it's really gonna depend on two things in this game. Botlane is gonna probably be really even, really like bland, if I have to say so rashly myself, because none of them are really gonna try to find anything other than the Mako trying to find poke. But the important parts right now are the mid jungle and top lane. Like mid jungle, like Jarvan Casio, how strong can that be? Level like 1 to 4, and with like the first gank, if you can catch the Gragas, so it's really tanky. But if you can catch the Gragas level 6, he's dead. And then like
Yeah.
you have top lane, which is the volatile lane in this game, especially with VR God being really proficient on Trundle.
Also, I think the most important thing for Sacramentum in the team fights is going to be how good is Course Nigel with these Alpha Strikes, with the timings? Can he dodge CC with them? Because can he not stand in the miasma? Because Mastery is a champion. If you know what you're doing, if you get these Q timings just perfect, you can just kill the enemy team by yourself. But if you don't, you get hit, you get clipped by a death sentence, you get flayed away, you get shot by a vein into a wall with a condemn, get knocked up by Jarvan, you're just going to die. Because Master Yi, no matter how you build him, even with the shield bow, he is mostly a glass cannon. And as we all know, glass shatters very quickly when hit in the wrong angle.
He is, but he has the comp that can enable him to have opportune entries in team fights. I usually like think of Yi in comps like these in a similar manner to what you would want to accomplish with a Katarina. Like you want to find the entry for the first kill and the reset, and then like the just takes over once like you can get the first pick in the game. So like yeah, that's
Right.
gonna be really interesting to like see how it goes, especially that he's going Conquer. So
True, yeah.
that can
No.
like that can enable both the lethality and attack speed like he builds.
Right, pause 10 seconds.
Hmm.
And we're live on Summoner's Rift. BBU Academy. This game on red side lead this series 1-0 over Sacramentum. Let's see if there's any invades happening this time on level 1. They are fanning away from each other, but Kauchi and Mieko are closer to the mid lane than you would expect them. Maybe they're trying to do something here with this early power of the Leona.
Yeah, and
30
you can
seconds
see
until
like Thresh
minions
Prince is
spawn.
also edging. He doesn't have a point into any skill yet, neither does anyone. But like it is really like scary because this level one, if there's any catch anywhere, it can be really volatile. Casio is one of the best level one champions in the game with her DPS. And just yeah, just a tad bit of like cheeky poke from Mako onto MOK right there. Nothing really major.
Oh,
Minions have
Price is
spawned.
already chasing Biargot a little bit. Does get the ward in the tri-brush. Not sure if that is all too worth it, because Jarvan will be topside level 3-4. By then this ward will have expired, and they're not going to really get any information with it either. But
Yeah,
yeah, maybe
the
just try to make
thing
sure the invade is coming.
the thing is about this top lane. Crisis should have autonomy in the wave state and wave manipulation because he has the capability to push if he wants to with his passive, and he has the range advantage, so he can keep hitting the wave whenever he likes. But that can leave him like lacking a little bit of damage if he elects to push too hard. In the
Oh,
case of single coming in.
so we've started Body Slam, gets one off onto Stingy. Oh, that's a flip from Organized Crisis, already doing good damage onto Biargod with that Pressy attack himself this time. Ergo is definitely a champion that will be able to fight back against the Trundle much better than the Shen could in game 1. We'll see how well that works over the course of this laning phase, as both junglers are still content with clearing said jungle. Level 2 first reached by the bot lane from BBUA, but Miko and Kauchi wisely standing quite far away there.
Yeah, and as you can see, like this is a good point for the Urgot. This thing is really finicky. Like level 1 to 3, Urgot has the advantage just because of the sheer range. Once you get like level 4 to like 6, before like the Urgot has the toggle on his W and has like a small enough cooldown on his legs, Trundle has the sway. Eventually it goes back into Urgot until like a 3-4 item Trundle can then outmatch him again. So it's like really about finding the timing in this matchup. Because right now, Crisis should have the control, and he's having the shove-in, and the wave is gonna reset. But as you can see, both junglers are edging towards the top lane.
Oh, that's a knockout onto Crisis from Imoki. He's got the double buffs. This Ripper will slow him down. He gets flipped over. He is in the area. It looks already very, very low. They get the Trundle Pillar just to dissuade Nigel from maybe queuing in. He does get the Q anyway. Imoki jumps away with the EQ, just barely surviving this one. That was too close for comfort. But now Stingy is here, and Darweave is still in the middle of the lane. So he gets flipped over though. The first detecting so much Stingy flashing away. Mossy, you want the Q, gets the fast man! Gets the heals from the meditate. Can they get the Argon as well without anyone dying? Yes, they get it! Double kill for Snipes on the sliver of health! And this is just what Sacramentum needed for the start of this game.
Absolutely beautiful for Sniper right there. Finding the perfect angle. He tried to find it on Imoki the first time, but he flashed out. And then you can see like the absolute power of Urgot early on. Just the absolute swing of that disdain. The fact that you have this few shield while you flip somebody over, you get the CC, you get him with the corrosive charge, and Thingy was just stuck there, and Snigel just found the perfect angle. He found his limit, he got the kill, and then once you start meditation on Master Yi, you're basically unkillable early on in the game.
Yeah, also this was a 2v3. That was ensuring that we've got some free solo farming time in the middle lane. They still won the fight. Both kills went onto the Master Yi, an extremely snowbally champion for those who haven't seen him in a while. You maybe always ban him in solo queue, but yeah, he's going to be a menace now if he can keep this snowball going.
Yeah, and you can see he built the Noon Quiver, and that indicates that he probably wants to go into more of a traditional carry Yi instead of the lethality one-shot. And that is, like, most optimal in that situation, because the thing that you are lacking right now in Sacramentum is answers to BR God and Imoke if they get big, which should be the Yi, because Ziggs is gonna be the one that's gonna, like, try to distance Cian and Stingy a bit. And it's gonna be really interesting to see how the Yi can take off and like set a huge initial lead right there. Like you can see it's almost a 1k gold lead. And most of it is just on lead.
Yeah, and I agree with the sentiment as well, because they have enough burst with Gragas Ziggs, at least they should have. So getting the sustained damage from an on-hit Master Yi should be more valuable than the sheer burst that a Duskblade Yi could provide. So far the lanes all going kind of even. Crisis a bit behind in CS, Mirko a bit behind in CS, and Darweave a bit behind in CS, but not all too much. It's still within a margin of error here. Darweave with the recall, even giving some farm here to Snigel. They just want to snowball the sea. They want to make this champion the biggest one on the map. Oh, good damage on the Fresh Princess. Kauchi gets a stun off. Mirko gets some good damage as well. Kauchi tanks the tower shot here. Meanwhile, the top laners are fighting. Biargot does have the press the attack onto Crisis, flashes behind him, the flash away was over to there, Crisis falls! Another solo kill for Biargot's Trundle. He should probably rename to Troll Dog. And here comes Stinging in the bot lane, roamed there. Vargas is run topside, Stinging run to the bot side, and it's paying off. They get the kill onto Ziggs already. Fresh Princess is ignited. The kill will go to Kauchi, but it's still a 2-for-1 overall, and both kills get onto the Cassiopeia. Stingy already has so much gold. This could get very threatening. They did kill Biargot in return in the top lane, but that means it's a 3-for-1 overall on the map. A 3-for-2, pardon me. Still a win for BBO Academy, who've closed the gold gap.
Yeah, and this is absolutely huge because the Cassio is the answer right here. Cassio is the one that can just deny the Gragas, deny the Urgot, which is gonna force Master Yi to be much more reserved than he already is as a champion due to how squishy he is. And the fact that like Urgot played really well, because he like played the waves to the point where he got the level 6 advantage and he's going to supplicate. And like you can see right now, like there is a roam. Fresh Princess in topside, and they're trying to get BR God again. Like they're devoting a lot of resources into making BR God is ahead every game.
Yeah, Crisis is playing this very carefully right now because they know the Thresh is missing. They don't know where the Jarvan is either. So wise on him to choose to recall here. That means Thresh wasted quite a lot of time in the top lane. So they have closed the bot lane CS gap at least to the Vayne. But Vayne is happy having even CS with a Ziggs, I think. So BB Academy probably happy with the game set as is.
It They are. They absolutely are. And you can see like Cassiopeia is scaling. She's building her tier up. He already has 4 Dark Seal stacks. So it's absolutely huge. And the thing is, like, all of the lanes have a CS advantage, and they're okay with that. Because they don't want to really force a fight that they don't need to, and neither does Sacramentum right here. So it's all gonna be really like dependent on like the solo kills in the top lane, for example, or like a pick from the Leona.
Yeah, Crisis is a level behind though, still level 6, for 2BR got level 7, and he's got the Subjugate back available, so Crisis has to be extremely careful here of BR Gods engage, because though he's doing good damage to him at the very moment, this Trundle can do so much with that ultimate. They get the Cloud Dragon though. They got the first dragon in the first game as well, actually the first 2, but it's still a good sign. This year is still snowballing. He is ahead quite the amount of camps here. Has got 15 CS more than this Jarvan.
Yeah, and he is a whole level ahead as well. That
Yeah,
is absolutely
huge.
enormous on E.
Yeah, he's
Like,
big.
yeah, you look at it like, it feels like the XP lead is evened out, because that is almost how much the Argot is hit off the person, and there is a dive that has...
No, perfect Cassiopeia ultimate onto Dark Weave there. Stingy is out of mana, here comes the shutdown with the explosive cast, and they're gonna get Emote as well. Perfect tanking off the tower, almost from couching, it does fall to the very last shot here, but great gank in the mid lane from the side of Sacramentum, shutting down this Cassiopeia, giving the gold to Darkweave, so he can still have the burst to be relevant in the middle stages of the game.
Indeed, and it's yet another kill to the Master Yi and a plate, and now he has free Herald access. And as you can see, Crisis right now, even though he is half a level behind the VR God, is able to handle himself really well. Even though the lane state is a little bit disadvantageous, and you can see both Thresh Princess and the Imoke right there are moving up. Oh.
Uh-oh. It's dangerous. They get the pillar. Here comes the gank. No way out for Organized Crisis. Flips the troll, but cannot get away. It's a kill for BR God again. Master Yi was not quite close enough to make a difference here. He did get the Herald though, so at least they got something out of that. Crisis should have known to play a bit more defensive without vision in the Tri-Brush, but yeah, the Yi is absolutely rolling in cash right now. It's almost 1,000 gold ahead of everyone else on the map.
Yeah, and the important part is, even though Thresh Princess has been roaming a lot, Dian hasn't been really losing that much in the lane. He's still even in CS, and it's also probably gonna be like a few CS ahead, just because there's CS coming under his tower. So like, they are getting like the prio to BR God and the resources to BR God, while not like really like leaking that much outside of that in the bot lane. And it's gonna be really interesting to see like the power dynamic between like Stingy and Sneeko in this game, while both of them are really huge right now. BR God is kind of strong as well, but I think with a Leandri already completed on the Ziggs, he's gonna have a hard time to stay in the fight for too long unless he finds a really good subject.
Alright, there was the Ziggs ultimate use, that Mega Inferno Bomb to stop the recall of Yen, which it did manage to do. This Ziggs is pretty strong right now. Vayne is carrying around 1,500 gold in the pockets as well, so even more power in the bot lane right now for Mieko. On the Ziggs will have control here. Now here comes the Zenith Blade and the Solar Flare. They're trying to get Yan, who's flashed and healed away. Thresh Princess is ignited. One fall to Ghost Nigel. Another kill for the Econ, then shoots him away. But he's just going to keep going. The Highlander is activated. Solar kill also in the top lane for Organized Crisis. And he dodges the EQ with the Meditate Q. Up falls to the tower. Shutdown goal goes to Emoke. But overall, big win for Sacramentum.
It is an absolutely big win. He denied the huge wave from the Vayne, got a lot of lead again onto the Yi, and depending on how Imoke is gonna build his Jarvan, because most Jarvans just gravitate to board drinker in the tank, it's not really gonna matter that much, as the Jarvan wouldn't be a threat outside of his CC. That doesn't really like differentiate that much depending on what he has. Oh, that was really close.
Yeah, that flashy was about half a pixel away from that Thresh Q. If the death sentence hits, it is just that, death sentence for this Urgot Crisis with a good flash there. Didn't think he was going to get away there. It's also really, really big for him to get that solo kill over Biarga, to keep the lane state in a way where he can still influence the side lanes, where he can still match the Trundle for the moment. And now let's see how this develops after that kill. They summon the Herald in the bot lane. A lot of gold will go to Snigel again, half of it, because he summoned the Herald, but he's choosing to give quite the amount of gold to his bot lane as well. This Ziggs is going to get terrifying, because he's got a lot of gold as well now, 1400 in the pockets. It's going to do a lot of damage to these squishies on the side of BBUA.
Yeah, and you can see Inferno spawning in 10 seconds as well, and all the lanes are even. There's a teleport advantage on Crisis right now. Oh, and Stingy is just chunked Arcurius right
Yeah, he's going to heal up with the passive though, when using abilities. Here comes a Flano onto Couchy, who's tried to make a play mid lane. They save their mid laner from that, with a good roam from Thresh and Jarvan as well. Everyone's posturing around this dragon right now. Both the top lane are still in the top lane. Organized Crisis getting some damage on the tower here. Getting some plates before they finally fall. Dragon Dance, as we could call it, isn't really happening because Sacramentum is just taking the dragon for themselves. It's an Inferno one for them. 2-0 Drakes. Oh, that was good damage from the Aragon. We have an ocean map once again. But Dragon Advantage once more is on the side of Sacramentum. This time though, they're not 3,000 gold behind. This time they're 2,500 gold ahead. This time they could actually win this game.
Indeed, and the Master Yi right now is absolutely enormous, and there's the pick on Stingy.
Oh, that's a hook onto Dart. We has to flash away. Solar Flare hits Cassiopeia. The ultimate from Ziggs not quite doing ultimate show. Professional Princess falls to Mieko. That's a kill for Ziggs. The bombs are flying. Stingy has to get away from there. There is the ultimate from Aragon. Sniped from under the tower. Organized Crisis gets the kill for himself. Now we know why the Aragon keeps getting bad against this man. He is popping off despite having an early disadvantage.
Yeah, and it's absolutely enormous right there. Like you can see, Stingy tried to like counter engage, but they still wasn't enough. There's not enough damage to burn through Couchy right now. And that was really good. Fresh Princess got a little bit stranded because he tried to help Stingy too much and ended up in costing him his life. And Stingy just, in the end, doesn't matter. Organized Crisis has this whole screen free beyond death that he can just land whenever he wants. It was just really well played from everyone in Sacramentum. And that is really scary considering Prospect is an Ocean Soul with how ahead that Smeagol is. The fact that he's like level ahead, everything in the map, the fact that like, going into Sacramentum as Bilbias Academy is really hard. And as you can see, they continue to amount more and more gold, and it's like almost a 3.5 gold lead, 3,500 gold lead.
It's actually 4,500 already. Almost 5. Here comes the Flano. Crisis in the 1v3. He has no way out. He's going to die. Can he get enough damage to do to threaten a kill? No, he cannot. Will fall to Biargon on the Trundle. That's 3 members committed to the top side. But Sacramento not in a position to commit somewhere else, so they choose to chase this one. Threatmans is already killed by Snigel. This Yi's in the Highlander. Gets knocked up, gets stunned, gets killed. Shotgun goes to Biargon. The teleport is coming in as well. Couchy has to flash away from the pillar, but cannot get away. The souls are coming in. This is going to be another kill for Stingy, who's 3-3 now on this Cassiopeia. That was an overextension there. Snigel was too sure of himself on this Master Yi. He might do a lot of damage, but is still a very fragile champion. Super Mega Death, Mega Inferno Bomb clearing the way here in the top, so they won't get the tower, but still, the gold gap is closing.
Yeah, and it was a really beautiful Dragon Strike from Imoke right there. It just disabled Yi. And as you can see, as soon as he got knocked up, he just got instantly burst down. And maybe it was a little bit over-ego, because Couchy did miss his solar flare. But that was like, you can see like how powerful Yi is. It just like ran through them. It was just this one single CC that he couldn't Alpha Strike was the one that cost him his life, which is a really good response from Bilbias Academy. They're coming back to the gold lead. And now it's back to the 3,500 gold lead I was saying that it is, and while it was 4,500 a minute ago.
Yeah, you just had future sight. You knew this was going to happen.
Yeah.
Right, 135 until the first Ocean Dragon is going to spawn. We can take a look at the inventories here. 3,500 gold is quite the lead for this stage in the game, but everybody has their mythic item except for Fresh Princess. The biggest difference here is this Master Yi, probably, but he's also only like half an item hit of the job, and that is a solo flare onto the red buff. Not sure why Couchy would use it so shortly before Dragon spawns. There comes the hook onto Crisis, but he just dashes out of this. But not really sure why they're contesting this red buff here, but they seem to not want to do anything else on the map right now, given the state of the lanes. Just preparing to recall for the dragon, I guess.
Yeah, and the dragon is gonna come up in 50 seconds, and there's a lot of XP that Darkweave is getting that no one else is getting from the side of BBO Academy on the map. And you can see, BBO Academy are moving in as packs, because they know like the small like 2v2s, if like he can find the small 2v2 like without a lot of CC, like without like the Jarvan there, maybe like only like Trumbull and Stinky, or with just like Yan and Inoken, he can really run the game rampant. So they're trying to move like in attacks of 3 to stop the small skirmishes, because Master Yi is much weaker in a bigger team fight with much more TT available to the side of BBO Academy.
These were some really late recalls from Rico Couchy, and especially from Snigel, but it doesn't look like BB Academy are going hard for this dragon, which is about to spawn. Nico has teleported in. Here comes the teleport from Biargot. They are trying to make this happen before he can be here. But Snigel is not all too far away. There's a blast cone behind the dragon pit, so he's going to be there in time. The Herald has been summoned in the bot lane, will be pushing in. But there's still some minions in its way. And the zone control is absolutely on the side of Sacramentum here, with the Ziggs running around and throwing bombs everywhere. Fresh Prince is already to half HP. Cassiopeia is coming in from the bot side. They're calling this Herald towards the tower. But it looks like the Star Dragon is already falling to Sacramentum. The fight is not yet started. Fresh Prince is already almost there. He comes a mega Final bomb, and they get the kill. In addition to this dragon, and the chase is on. Solo flare flowing down. Yeah, and here comes the Cassiopeia ultimate, stunning down, but not all too much else. Nitro is running rampant. Organized Crisis gets another kill. They get the Cassiopeia. Some nice new snake boots from Jaeger. Will fall to the poison though, and it's an absolute slaughter for Sacramentum, who get the 4-for-1 and the dragon. Now they're 5,000 gold, almost ahead again, and 3 dragons to their name. They are in control of game 2.
And absolutely like show of like they knew what they had to do, and they knew how to take advantage of their comp. You can see like the Ziggs and Gragas did a lot of damage there that led to the Super Inferno Death Bomb killing the Fresh Princess right there in the bottom lane. Maybe they were a little bit disrespectful of the damage output Mieko and Darkweave had, but that was just a lot of absolute like damage output there from Mieko, especially with the Leandries, that everyone on the side of BBO Academy is health stacked right now. You have like Trundle with a lot of HP, you have Jarvan a lot of HP, even Cassiopeia like gets some HP from like items like Morello, from other items, like there are like Demonic Embrace eventually. So the Leandris is gonna have a lot of insane value, and like this Ziggs is gonna be absolutely enormous.
Yeah, also he's just finished his own Demonic Embrace. He's got his Sork Shoes as well, and the Oblivion Orb to combat any healing that could be coming out so far. That's only the Trundle and the Gold Drinker from Jarvan, but there could be coming more for the Vayne, obviously. But yeah, 2.5 item Ziggs. He is huge right now, in addition to the Master Yi. So far, it looks like Sacramento know what to do to snowball this game. They know what they have to be doing. They're only 3 minutes away from a Dragon Soul, which would be an Ocean Soul, a massive one, especially with the Urgot and the Gragas in their team. And so they just have to keep doing like they have been, and not get caught like Mako here. That is a hook flay and a solar flare to defend, but they're 3v2. Here comes the ultimate from Jarvan. Megan Firebomb does a lot of damage, but not quite enough. Mako will fall to the main. They get one kill. Yeah, has ulted and tries to get something, but Couchy stuns him. Here comes Yi. Return kill is in for comes Nigel, and now the chase goes in the other direction. 1-for-1. Cassio used defensively. Trundle's pushing in the side lane. But overall, I count this as a win for Sacramento, as they are pushing on the inner turret in the mid lane. While Trundle gets the inner turret in the bot lane, they are faster. They're pushing as a unit of 4.
Oh, and they are finding an angle on Stingy, and that was really beautiful.
Huge Cask E combo to kill Stingy.
Yeah, and Build Bias Academy right now, maybe that they were the one that was a little bit desperate with trying to find something on the Mako. Yes, they find the good hook right there from Fresh Princess, but they were a little bit over eager and winning too hard that like when Mako died, it did cost them a everything. He calls in the tower, it calls in the dive. They didn't have enough to respond to the B who was coming afterwards, and the TP that was coming from Bard Lead. And this Baron sounds like nothing but guaranteed at this point.
Oh, he gets summed up by the solar flare and he dies while going into the pit. Baron and a kill for Sacramentum, and now their gold lead is over 6,000. All they have to do now is pick up this dragon in 90 seconds and they'll be good to go towards ending the game.
And there must be a cheeky laugh between the members of Sacramentum saying like, thank you for your donation, Imoke there. That was really close though. Like, if Imoke landed the smite, that would have been a really important steal that would have swung the momentum really heavily back into the odds with Bilbao's Academy. Thankfully though, Sneagle is all awake to get the smite, to get the secure. He's getting the QSS, which is absolutely huge for this CE right now, because the only thing that he has to worry about is the petrifying gate in this stage of the game, due to how big the Urgot is, how big the Gragas is even, and the fact that Mako is an absolute turret. And it's gonna be really interesting to see how they capitalize on the Baron right now.
Oh, we're gonna see the top laners 1v1, but Yargon has already been flipped over. He's used the subject and he's doing so much damage to Crisis, who's used solo ultimate, not yet. Here he comes! There we go! That is the fear beyond death and another solo kill for Organized Crisis.
Yeah, and BR God is the one that's being like led on right now throughout this whole game. Yes, he did have a lot of resources early on into him, but he can see Organized Crisis. Once all of that like faded back, he has to manage himself.
Oh, that's a big solo flare from Couch. Here comes the Ian. Here comes the rest of the team. Imoke will fall as well. It's a double kill already for the Ziggs. They're going to get Yan as well. Darkweep is putting an absolute clinic with these casks as well. Thresh Princess will die to Master Yi. It's an ace at 24.5 minutes. Are they even going to get this Ocean Soul? Because they could just try to end the game. Death time is just only over 20 seconds right now, though, so it looks like they're committing for this Ocean Soul, but their lead is growing insurmountable. 10,000 their lead now.
Yeah, and that is a huge deal, and it looks like Bilbao's Academy is on course to lose their first match of the Balance League so far in this split.
At least the first game.
Yeah. And that is just absolutely beautiful from the side of Sacramentum. They just found the angle, they found the engage. Mako is just doing too much damage right there. They can't handle the damage that Mako is doing, as Sneagle is always there for the team. And then the solo kill from Crisis over BR God was really important, because BR God did have a TP advantage. So if he got in the kill, he would have gotten the kill TP and maybe tipped the scale of this fight, which is really important. You can see Crisis has everybody on the side of Sacramentum has a shutdown far from Couch. And that is just like how big the gold lead is. 11k gold lead right now.
Yeah, plus
Baron is almost expiring.
Oh. Some people meeting here that don't want to fight right now. But this is a daring one from Couchy and Organized Crisis, because the whole team from BBUA is there, but they're not quite sure where the rest of Sacramentum is, so they're not going for the engage here. I loved how in the last fight, Dartweed, Nieko, and Couchy synchronized their ultimates for absolute maximum AoE effect. That was the fight. That meant the fight was just over before it really began, with all the damage from the Mega Inferno Bomb. And with the lockdown from the solar flare, and before that they got divided by that explosive cask. If they can use these abilities to similar effect in the next fight, the game is going to be over after this
And
next
maybe it doesn't even need to be in such a similar extent. Like, if they don't mess up, they have the soul advantage, and one of the best souls in the game right now in the Ocean Soul. Every lane is winning. Sneagle seems to be aware that he's being chased and he's fallen back off. If you just find an even fight, you don't even need an advantageous head with a beautiful like solar flare right there and the Mega Inferno Bomb. If you find something even, you easily win. You have a 10k gold lead, everybody is at least one item ahead of their counterpart in the other team. And yeah, the game looks pretty doomed for the side of Bilbao's Academy right now. It would need a miracle for the game to like not be over.
Yeah, they need to stall out until they can catch up in gold, and the percentage of the gold lead would not be as big. But for now, it's getting even bigger. We're almost at 12,000 now. And remember, this Ocean Soul is healing them up in between every single skirmish, in between every single thing that happens. There doesn't really seem to be a big angle for BBUA to come back into this game, unless there's an unnecessarily big throw. Oh, that's a flash away from Couch. He still gets tagged by the hook, gets tagged by the Vayne as well. But yeah, look at the damage he's taking from the Ziggs. Mega and Photobomb just preventing the kill there with the shield from the Locket of the Iron Solari. This poor Vayne has absolutely nothing to say right now against the damage of Ziggs. The range is just too big from that little bomb thrower. And they're going to get the mid lane inhibitor. Top lane inhibitor also already falling just now. Sigel is making his way to everybody. This was a 4v5 until now, and there wasn't really any threat towards the side of Sacramentum, who are just backing off to wait for the next wave here. It could go towards this Baron that's spawning in 35 seconds. Seems they're choosing to reset before that. They're carrying quite a lot of gold in their pockets, 1600. But I think after this Baron, we're going to see the final push of this game.
Yeah, and you know, unlike most of the people in solo queue, this game was really tough. It looks like a jungle death right here.
It's a 1v4. He's not going to get away. Get some damage onto him off, but he will die. This was an unnecessarily big mistake here from Organized Crisis, who gets killed by BBUA, and suddenly hope is back that they could get a Baron maybe.
Yeah, a little bit of an unforced error right there. Like, BBU Academy seems to be pushing their advantage super hard right now.
Yeah, but they can't really do Baron while Ziggs is alive. They'll just get poked out.
Yeah, like, Vargas is alive as well.
It's the bomb! Look at this, Bjorgon's already almost dead. Here comes the cast, doing so much damage! The Terrifying Base not doing anything. Signs of the killing spree, everybody's already low from the side of BBA. That's a quarter kill for Master Yi. They're gonna get him the Penta. Nigel is fast enough to walk there. Penta kill for Nigel. The Master Yi paying off big time. They're gonna get the Baron. They're gonna end the game.
There you go, a little bit of a desperate play from the side of Bill Bias Academy right there. But an absolutely beautiful cleanup right there. Ziggs does a lot of damage right there. You can see, like, Yan almost died just from the Inferno Bomb. And Sneagle just came in, Kaushi came in with the engage and the Zenith Blade. It was a really beautiful execution. That is a much better answer to the power of Stingy and VR God and these bruisers that control Matrix. If they did something similar to that, the series could be swung in the really opposite direction for the side of Sacramentum right there.
Yeah, very well played to hand BBUA their first defeat of the split. Of course, now the series 1-1. We are having another game here to decide the victor of the series, who can remain undefeated in series in Division 3A. Now, Sacramentum have made a big point why it should be them after the next game. What can be the answers that BBUA can bring towards Sacramentum here? Do they just ban out the Yi? Or is there some other plan that they could follow?
In my opinion, some of the biggest pain points for Bill Bias Academy right there is that, unlike the last game, they couldn't really translate all the resources they devoted onto BR God and a lot of these roam from Stretch Princess into a meaningful lead on the other end, which is something that they are usually capable of doing. Like, as you can see, like in game one, BR God just like took the lead. He took the roams, he took the jungle assistance, and he ran over the game. This didn't happen this time around. This time around, like, yes, Crisis did stagnate and fall behind a little bit, but when the game came back to even, like 10 minutes later, they were on even footing. And since Crisis on a much more comfortable pick in the Urgot, he was just capable of like taking the game. He got a lot of important solo kills. He was capable of holding BR God in his place, and he was capable of just keeping the team together. And the thing is, it just wasn't the fact that it was Yi. If it was something like a Diego, the outcome would have been the same. It's just Mako did a lot of impact in that game, and that was really big. Like the fact that the Ziggs was just capable of basically one-shotting everyone just with the Mega Bomb right there is really important. So maybe try to play better around the poke of Sacramentum, and that will give him a much better chance in game 3.
Yeah, gotta say, I love Dark Weep's Gragas, a very unusual pick in the mid lane these days, and he went deathless this game. And the casts did so much at as displacement against this composition that really needed their carries protected in the backline. So really creative use of a champion like Gragas from the side of Sacramento. That shows they're willing to do the unusual, just like with the Master Yi jungle. to win their games. And now they have asked the question to BBUA if they have an answer for this unusual stuff. Now, we're going to have game 3 of this series in a couple of minutes. I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are too. Don't touch your browser. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Valence League's Division 3A, and we're going to see an absolute banger if the first two games of the series are any indication. It's 1-1 between Sacramentum and BBU. The winner of this third game will remain undefeated in the group stage at the moment, and we're already in the ban phase. I'm Motojo, I'm still with Demise, and we are so excited for this third game.
Yeah, and it's gonna be really interesting because Bill Bias Academy just dropped their first game in this division so far, and they have been looking vulnerable from from the angles that Sacramento has been attacking them from. And we're gonna see like if are they gonna like be wary? Are they gonna have like a counter strat for the Ziggs that was just such a thorn in their side, and for the Master Yi that was also always able to clean up in that game and was just able to snowball and take a huge lead. As
And
so far, the Bane's team is standard.
Yeah, they've not changed the games between games 1 and 2, but here is the Gragas ban. Darkweave obviously went deathless on that one last game, was an absolute menace towards the backline, these explosive casts, ensuring that the Mega Inferno bombs and Zig's other bombs could do the damage that they needed to do to whittle the enemy team down, so that the Master Yi could collect the kills that he did towards the pentakill he got right at the end of the game. Now, the final ban is Vel'Koz, so two Control Mage bans once again towards Stingy. Let's see what the first pick is this time as the Vel'Koz is banned.
That last two times they like prioritize giving Trundle to be our god, but this time we're gonna see the Mundo.
Oh, really interesting, because BDU banned the Mundo the first two games instead of the Gragas. So unsurprisingly, I think the Ziggs gets locked in once again. Of course, Mundo is a lot better than Trundle into Ziggs, because he can withstand a lot more poke. We'll have to see though. Argot gets locked in by them for Crisis again. I think that's a good choice as well. He was doing very well in the first game. And with the matchup likely already known, unless they send Mundo into the jungle for a Moke, a good pick here.
Yeah, it is a good pick, but the thing is, this is post-rework Mundo. This is not the same. I'm gonna tank all of your EP damage Mundo. And the side of Sacramento right now is intensifies to buy anti-healing, which means you don't want another mid laner or another jungler with sustain in their kit, because you don't want them to let's make all 5 players in Sacramento buy anti-healing, because that would just ruin your god's day. So that limits a little bit of the jungle pool specifically. As the response, and that can be flexed to mid lane.
Yeah, I think it's a very, or to jungle even. I think it's a very great response here to the Leona Tristana, because you know what? You Zenith Blade on me? I'll just give my carry a spell shield and have him walk away.
Yeah, and you can see once again they're pinching Stingy's champion pool. And yes, Stingy had a good performance in the Cassiopeia, but it was nowhere near as dominant as the Vel'Koz. And this time, I'll be interested to see what he opts in. Are he gonna opt for yet another Control Mage, or is he gonna try to find something that is a little bit out of his comfort zone? Maybe an assassin, or like a long range, like a shorter range mage, like the Rise, for example. It would be really interesting because, like, so far, the comp of Bill Bias Academy seems to be one that wants to find the engagement, that wants to be proactive.
Alright, two aggressive junglers banned. The Master Yi that we just saw destroy that second game, and the Xin Zhao. So they want to have Snigel on something a little less potent in the earlier stages of the game. Now let's see what...
Diego is still open, and he is really good if you want to fill the same niche that Master Yi and Xin Zhao do. But is Nigo gonna be... Oh, and he is!
Is the Ruin King gets locked in for the side of Sacramentum. Of course, this also could be a flex. Solar Vega has been nerfed, but can still be played, as Huni proved for TSM just this past weekend. Now we see another Heimerdinger hover. That is, I hope, a shout out to my own teammate Oscar, who's piloted that in this division as well. But we're going to see Lee Sin locked in for a Moke. He piloted that in game 1 to great success. Now let's see if game 3 can be similar for the jungler of Bill Bias Academy. Final lock for them about to happen.
Is it going to be a solo lane Lee Sin?
This could be a solo lane Lee Sin or Diana. Not yet the lock-in though.
It is probably gonna be the Lee Sin in the mid lane. I have to presume because Diana's impact in the jungle is much better, and her time in the lane is much easier than if she is the mid laner against like something like a Rise. Because like you have R5 right now, so if you like show that Diana is gonna be in lane and Annie hover, that can be really devastating.
I was about to say Annie would have surprised me big time, but it is going to be the Ari, a champion that can have enormous catch potential, but is also very forgiving because the ultimate allows you to jump away from danger very, very far. Now let's see these lane assignments, especially interesting from the side of BBUA. Where's the Lee Sin? Where's the Diana gonna go? So far, Emoke's having the Lee Sin and Stingy's having the Diana.
Oh, and that's actually gonna be really interesting because Diana in lane, if you're capable of like hitting enough crescent strikes, she is really powerful. She can find a lot of lethals, but it depends on like how much can Diana survive before like she can ramp points in her Q to the point where they actually hurt the Ari. But the Ari doesn't really struggle as much as some of the other mages because of her built-in sustain. So it's gonna be like Stingy needs to like show proficiency on the Diana to find the angles of lethals or try to find good mid lane synergy with the jungler Imoke. Because the mid jungle duo right here is much stronger in the early game for the side of BBO Academy than it is for Sacramentum.
All right, then, with the comps locked in, give me a prediction, Demise. Who do you think is going to win this game? Who's going home undefeated today?
Well, side of VBO Academy is playing a comp much akin to the one that they played in game one, while Sacramento is playing something much more akin to that they played in game two, just Ari instead of Gragas and Mundo instead of Trundle. And so far, it's all really gonna be reliant once again on Crisis against VR God. Because it is really hard to force Ari out of the lane, but it is like easily like doable like you try to force a skirmish around the scuttle. But so far, like it seems like a lot easier for Sacramentum with their comp because if they can get a pick, Ziggs is still gonna be really strong in this game. Like Tristana is the only one that has enough range to like withstand the range of Ziggs, but that will have to be like later on, like level 14 onwards. But Ziggs still then would be a little bit threatening to her because she would try to move up to auto attack. So like once again, Mako's gonna have immense value, and it's all gonna be about like is Mako gonna get like the same gold like value that he had the last game where he got like resources like put into him and he got all of the resources allocated like the Herald in the bot lane. He got like a lot of like alleviation because Thrish Princess was roaming a lot to the top side, so he can get to the point where Six actually really hurts, and you can see the Inferno bombs from the last game. And yeah,
All
like
right.
this game is gonna be really dependent of Mako hitting that power point and Sneagle and Crisis maintaining their power without like snowballing like from BR God and Imoke because they have a it's basically the game is on a timer from the side of VBO Academy. Once again, if Lee Sin can do anything, this game like looks doomed. Like they are not they don't have as good as pick, they don't have as good as disengage, and poke is heavily in favor of Sacramentum in this game.
All right, then. Now, with the top lane matchup being so important, who do you think should have the upper hand in the early game 1v1? Is it Mundo? Is it Urgot? We've seen Trundle destroy Shen. We've seen Trundle and Urgot go very back and forth. How does this top lane matchup work in the early stages of the game? Let's not look at the junglers for now, just the 1v1.
Just as a pure 1v1, this lane is pretty even. Granted that BR God is able to land a few cleavers here or there on Crisis, he shouldn't be in too much of a threat. But once again, Crisis has one of the strongest level ones in the game, just of the fact that he has Urgot on his side. So that is gonna be like really important. That like level 1 through 4, he doesn't really get hit that much with the passive from Urgot because that will really like stunt his lane. And even yes, he has regen, then he wouldn't have the amount of HP that enables him to like, yeah, I want to go in because there's always a threat of Viego having a possession on a Mundo, and that is super dangerous.
Right then, as we are in the loading screen and actually already on the dark side of Summoner's Rift, let's see what these teams can show us in their final game of today. They're 1-1. BBU Academy on blue side this time, with Sacramentum returning to the red side, where they were in the very first game today. We're about to synchronize up with production to bring you the best possible experience. Pause the 10 seconds.
I'm still in loading. What the fuck? Riot. Oh.
Right, then we seem to have a little problem here with Riot Games, having my co-caster having to wait for the game a little
Okay, there we
bit.
go. I'm in. 10, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I'm at 10.
Perfect. And we're live on Summoner's Rift, the deciding game between the two, as of yet, undefeated teams of this division's group. They're both 3-0, and now they're 1-1 against each other. Who can get their fourth win in this group stage, and who will remain at 3? The teams are fanning out for the 5-point start again. No invades level 1 once again.
And yet again, it's just
30
the dance
seconds
is
to
legal
minions
and okay in the
spawn.
mid lane. There's nothing really going on that is that really non-standard, and the whole game is just spanning out. Yeah. Poor Crisis. Like, I guess Mundo does what he pleases after all. So like, yeah, it all depends, like, on what's gonna happen this game. Like, you have a lot of things that are hanging on Imoke and Stingy. Because like, BR God and Crisis should be a pretty even lane, given that there is no like push from either side. Like, there's like no like wave manipulation and jungle pressure. This lane should be pretty even. Like, unless Crisis eats a lot of cleavers at level 1, which
I
he
just
is
have to say,
seemingly doing so.
I hate this Argot skin. He had such a good one last game, and I was going with a pink pajama guardian. Ugh! Yuck.
Yeah, both sides starting on the red side and bot side jungle, which means that they're both gonna meet in the top lane that we have said is the focal point. It's gonna be really important to see what's gonna happen, because Lee Sin is gonna clear faster than Viego. So it's gonna be really important to see, like, can Crisis handle his lane and handle the wave manipulation to the point where he doesn't get pressured that hard.
Oh, he's trying to flip the Mundo, gets the proc on the press the attack, so he's winning the early trade. Mundo will heal up, obviously, of course. But still, this is a good sign for this top lane for the moment, as the first charm of the game misses from Dartweave on Stingy. I'm really interested to see how he can pilot this Diana in the melee versus ranged matchup. We've seen him so far play a very high-ranged control mages. As a Zenith Blade lands, they have the early level 2 onto them. Couchy gets ignited, gets a bomb on his head. Can he live here? Oh, flash fall from Yeti will get the first blood! And that was a crucial one. Now, can Rieko do anything in return? No, he cannot. Disaster strikes, so Sacramentum in the early stages of the bot lane.
And there's another Zenith!
There comes the stun! Can Rieko live here? He forces the Tristana away by throwing a bomb, so will not fall here. But this is already very, very threatening for the side of Sacramento. BBUA's bot lane up.
That was really close right there from Mako on Tian. But yeah, that was really like the worst possible outcome for the early game for Mako and Couchy right there. Granted that this shouldn't really like make the lane like tilt super heavily, like maybe that would happen in mid or top lane, but that is a big like loss of like XP and like pressure in the bot side. It should have been like much more pressure than it currently is, especially that like you have cleanse on Yan, and that is like really defensive. Like they still got the first pick right there in level 2.
Organized Crisis is a level up here, but Imoke is there with the Lee Sin. Crisis already dashes away, but now the minion wave is gone. Flashes away, Imoke gets the E, gets the Q. Can he follow it up? He doesn't want to with the resonating strike, because Cruel Snagel is in a very cool shroud right there. Looks scary. He's just looking at them menacingly, and they walk away.
Yeah, and that is a flash burn from Crisis, and that is really important against Ethan and Mundo, because now the only thing you have is his Dane, and Urgot is just a really like stationary character usually. Because especially once like you turn on your Purge, it really eats at your movement speed, and losing that flash is really important. It's gonna open up a lot of chances for Imoke again.
Right, then we should be expecting Imok to make his way back to that top lane. For now, though, Bjorgot is pushing on the Mundo. Not really the biggest opportunity to gank right here. Crisis is going to try and freeze. There's always Kauchi gets Eve, but gets a spell shield. Now they know that Mako is defenseless, and they're going on him immediately. Yen will get another kill for him, so there's a 2-kill to start. Jumps behind Kauchi, gets the bomb on his head, and it's looking absolutely doomed for Kauchi. Can he get the return kill? Yes, he can. Kills Trash Princess with a QW combo. Well, that will just mean another kill for Yen. He's on a killing spree, 3-0 on the Tristana. This is very, very, very not good for Sacramentum.
3-0 on a Tristana, and this lane has just fallen out of favor.
Christ dies to the cleavers!
Oh, this is just this is nerves getting to the side of Sacramentum, I guess, because they played this much more stable in game 2 than they played in game 3. But yeah, like you can see, like now Yan is gonna run the game over. Like Mako is really pressuring in this lane. Like Thresh Princess is absolutely like strong. Like you have Ignite again because it comes faster than Exhaust. You have a window there. You are gonna have Flash up on Mako, but it's down on Kauchi. And that really just makes bot lane a nightmare. Especially because like usually when you play Ziggs, you're the one that gets the prio and the shove, and that means you're kinda doomed if the Zenith ever lands on you.
Yeah, also this was a really great target switching from the side of Vivio's bot lane. They hit the Zenith Blade onto Kauchi, who immediately black shields himself, and that means no black shield from Yeko. And he's standing right next to him, so just cue him with the Leona, get the stun, get a lot of damage from Yan, and boom! Yordle is in black and white at the fountain.
Yeah, and it is really good for Yan right there to step up and have the place carry the game and lead it.
Stingy jumps forward, but Snidge and Organized Crisis have made the run to the mid lane. Teleport is coming in from Bialga, but Sting is running away. The whole run away, Charm lands, and the ultimate will not save the Diana. Organized Crisis gets that kill for himself. Great run from Bialga, doesn't get the flip onto Bialga, but still deals decent damage here. They come reinforcements though, Fresh Prince flashes in, gets the Z's, but get the stun! That's a kill on the Dark Beam. Organized Crisis trying to go on, will fall as well. Snidge are now in a 2v3 with the help of Mieko. They're dying him, they're killing him, double kill goes to one of Bialga. Can he get away from the tower? Yes, he will, and he will, but now comes Couch here, so from the bottom lane with this Morgana. Bianca 1 Q away from death, but he dodges the bomb and will not die. Couch gets stunned by Thresh Princess, and they're going out positive on this one. Everybody's in the middle, a big party. They're going to stun onto Mieko. Thresh Princess tries, finds another Zenith. Here comes him up with a Q4, and they're killing everybody. Disaster for Sacramentum. BB 9-2 in kills.
And it's just an ARAM! Everybody just running mid lane. Like Nico doesn't have Heartbreaker. He doesn't have the ability to like push the reset as hard as he can. He's only level 5, and you got the first pick on Stingy. You got a kill traded. You shouldn't have pressed back that hard. Maybe a little bit over-eager, maybe a little bit of nerves, maybe a little bit of too much confidence in their own abilities, even though they're a little bit behind. Now they're 4k gold behind, and Herald is spawning any second now.
Yeah, this is looking almost doomed for Sacramentum. This is a full K gold deficit at 8 minutes into the game. They are going to need very patient play and some good setup for surprise plays to come back into this game. It looks like they're looking for the dragon right now, but with how behind they are, I'm not sure they can afford starting it without knowing where Lee Sin is. And look at the map, Lee Sin is in the bottom side.
Yeah, they're starting because they have Prio, but now Mako and Kauchi are caught up. That is a really good move right there.
Kauchi is already expanded. Kauchi will sacrifice his own life for his AD carry. Yan on a rampage, 4-0. The Organized Crisis gets bullied to absolute hell under his own tower in the top lane. At least Nigel has picked up this Infernal Dragon, so they've got something to their name at least, but still the 4k gold deficit is not going to make this game any easier. Oh no. It's Nigel in the 1v1 against Timok. This could be the only one they could be winning, but just uses a blast cone to get away.
Yeah, and it just looks really scary because you're talking about, like, what chances does Sacramentum have of a comeback in this game? And it's really slim, because once Mundo gets ahead, he's absolutely oppressive until everybody gets the 2 items. He's just gonna out-sustain and out-damage you throughout the game. Tristana is on 4 kills. She has Noom. She almost has her Gale Force. She's absolutely powerful. Either that or a Kraken Slayer, but I would assume a Gale Force would be like the choice here that Yan makes. And it is just looking really doomed. There's this very, very, very slim chances for Sacramentum to ever come back into this game. Because the fact that they pick that kind of comp, they really rely on some picks, and these picks are gonna be really hard to obtain with how tanky the members of Bill Blythe's Academy are gonna be and how much stronger that they're gonna be. Like, you can't really have a sustained fight with Viego if you're gonna lose everybody else of your team members because they can't really survive.
Yeah, Cauchy had looked so good on the Leona in game 2, but so far this Morgana game is not a lucky one for the support of Sacramentum. Also, Crisis in the top lane on his signature. Urgot is getting decimated. Now First Princess finds another Zenith Blade onto Cauchy. They get the ultimate onto Miekis. When the bomb is on him, he will fall. First Princess gets the kill for themselves. And now Cauchy is in trouble. Tristana jumps and flash away. Flashes all. The Q is unstoppable. Will still fall to the tower. Shutdown goal goes to Mieko. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Crisis and Snigel have just barely survived against the Urgot. The Urgot ultimate, not sure where that was supposed to be going. And they're being chased away from their own tower. This is going to mean some plays. This is a play in the mid lane for Stingy as well. The goal lead keeps going. We're at 5,000 at 11 minutes. This is one of the more one-sided games I've seen in recent times.
Yeah, and it feels like a bit of a wash, and once again, maybe there's a little bit of miscommunication or stress on the side of the bot lane of Sacramentum, but the way that they timed their abilities, the way that the Satchel didn't get timed with a Dark Binding right there, and you can see that Twitch Princess got a free pass, was just really the reason that they got killed. But like, thankfully, Mako got something in return, and he got a 700 gold shutdown that has led him to finish both his Lost Chapter and his Fiendish Codex. And that is really important. You really need him on his Mythic anytime soon because the Mundo is going to be absolutely enormous.
Yeah, 5,500 gold at 11.5 minutes still looks very, very bad here for the side of Sacramentum. I do have to really praise Flesh Princess this game, landing absolutely every Zenith Blade. The Solar Flare is also absolutely on point. 11 out of 12 kills. Leona has been part of only the Solar Kill in the top lane. Here comes the engage! Things already killed Cauchy! And they're going to kill the Ahri as well! Not even the charge away can save her. The flash though does. Flesh Princess very, very low here. This could be a good fight for Sacramento. Apparently, Organized Crisis taking up some shots from the cleavers. Stingy still in the flank. They can move back to their own tower. They've not lost anyone. Except for Cauchy at the very moment. This looked like disaster for a second, but they somehow managed to get out of it. It was a 5v4 though. Meanwhile, Yan on the Tristana has gotten another tower.
Yeah, and that is a solo tower with full plates.
Oh.
That is an immense amount of gold that just took up within Yan. It's looking really sad. It's almost 7,000 gold league anytime soon. They just need to raise the third tower, and they have the Herald onto Inoke, so it's gonna be like 7-8k gold lead anytime soon. And it's just so grim. Viego can get his resets. None of them are on their mythics yet. The only one that is on his mythic right now are Yan, that has just got his item from the recall, and VR God on his Sunfire. And it just looks really scary for the side of Sacramentum. They are gonna probably be washed away. They need to play this really well to hold it back. They have good wave clear on Mako and Dark Weed, but is that wave clear gonna be enough? Because you've only gotten one dragon, and the soul is gonna be either an ocean or a mountain yet again for the third game, and that is gonna be really disastrous.
2 lands on the Cauchy, then immediately he washes away the spell shield just with the magic, and exhaust is onto the Diana. Will it matter though? Here comes the jump from the bomb. Cauchy has a bomb on his head. Mega Inferno Bomb not able to save the support. 1-7 for Cauchy on this Morgana. As we said, not a lucky game. Look much better on the engaged tank support. Meanwhile, Crisis is in big trouble here against the Mundo, who just bullies him however he pleases. And just constantly under his own tower being bullied out. We've now ignited by First Princess. Here comes the Zenith Flare. Here comes the Sun as well. Bolts away over the tower. There comes the Solar Flare, and the bomb from Yan will take the kill. Number 7 for the Tristana.
And it is absolutely beautiful from Twitch Princess, never missing a beat. always having the Zenith Blade right there. Even if he gets black shielded, he know what to do. He know how to deal with it. Because in theory, it should be a really oppressive counter matchup with Diana, the Morgana, I'm sorry, and Leona.
Oh my
But
god.
they're not really trying to.
You cannot charge in as Urgot when you're that far behind without hitting the flip, because you will just die. Bjarga now flashing away from Cruz. Nigel is trying to get anything done here, but the teleport is coming from Stingy. Now Nigel is the one who has to run away. Stingy gets the movement sweeper still from the base. Nigel under is on tower, cannot save him. He cannot. The moonfall comes in. Mundo is unstoppable! And the gold lead is now 9,000 at 15 minutes. Demise, my friend, as optimistic as I would like to be for the chance of Sacramentum this one soon, they get the Zenith Blade under the tower onto Darkweave. For now he will be able to walk away, but the bomb is still doing tons of damage. Herald has been summoned in the mid lane, they're going to get this tower as well. And the full outer ring of towers will be down as soon as Mundo walks up to the top lane tower that will fall at a stiff breeze. And now it's over 10,000.
10k gold lead. I would try to be like all Daisy and say they have a chance. But that just sounds really far-fetched if I'm being like nice, to be honest. This game just feels over. Like you can see, like there's level leads everywhere. There's a 2-level lead in the mid lane, a 2-level lead in the top lane, a level lead in the bottom lane. Even Twitch Princess is almost a level ahead of Couch. It is just so doomed right now for Sacramentum. It was going so well in game 2.
Yeah, the big thing to watch now is how well can BBA end this game, how clean are they in the execution of their lead. Because with a 10,000 gold lead at 15 minutes, you should be able to close well before 25. We'll now probably shift our attention to if they can do that, rather than if Sacramento can make a comeback. Because any comeback right now would be about 1.5 miracles.
Crisis is being chased yet again.
Yeah, Lee Sin is coming from the jungle, he's already at half HP. Here's him all, here comes the kick, Q follow up, easy kill. Bjargon is dominating on the Dr. Mundo. Ay.
Yeah, it just, I don't know, like Sacramentum seems just to be a little bit too desperate. Maybe Nerf's getting to them because of how like far the game is slipping away. It just looks kinda grim for them at the moment. And like, oh, thingy.
Here comes the charge and Moonfall comes in onto Mieko. Black Shield just barely saves this life. Couchy tries anything he can. That's a lot of damage though from the quick Q. But they woke up again! Why, Mieko? Why did you woke up again? There came the Diana Q to kill you. Nigel gets the snipe from the backline. This is Diana himself now, but this against everybody. Yan and pop the ball and it explodes. He flashes away to live. Couchy dies to him all. Goes on rampage. Now Yan gets the reset, gets the jump, gets the kill. 22-4 in kills. That is an absolute domination from BBUA.
I'll just be honest right there. Sacramentum is just being bullied right now. It's not even fun to watch anymore. They're getting really desperate. They can feel the tilt going through them. They're trying to force plays that are really coin flippy. And it feels like that the game is just gonna be over anytime soon. Second Herald is gonna come in 15 seconds. And you can see like...
Crisis walks into a Tristana. Normally that would be a threatening thing for the AD carry. But when the Tristana is this strong, is there really any question how this would end? They get the kill onto the other. First Princess now gets rooted by the Morgana in the brush. That's a lot of damage coming from Morgana, Ari and Ziggs. Can First Princess get away? No! They get the shutdown! Or it's not really a shutdown, but it is a kill for the Ari. Now Nigel gets bullied again by this Dr. Mundo, who is absolutely massive and does go wherever he pleases. Wherever he pleases.
It just really sucks for Viego to be in a situation like this where everybody on his lane is falling apart and he cannot get a single reset. Because think of how huge the Viego possessing somebody like the 5-0 Lee Sin or the 9-1 Tristana would be in the game like this. If he gets that possession, if he gets that sort of possession, the game would be over. But they just can't get the resets. The resets are really hard to find. And I really cannot find the way in me to believe that, oh, like they will last another 15, 20 minutes, get to like at least play like just one item behind, because you can see like Mundo's almost done with his Spear Visage. Crisis hasn't even completed his mission.
Miracle gets a spell shield, but this time it cannot save him. It did save him for quite a while. The Mega Inferno Bomb dealt some damage, but they're just playing with their food now, killing the Ziggs here. Now they're going to chase Couchy as well. The Zenith Blade lands, the stun lands. Stingy doesn't really want to kill him though. Here comes the Soul of Flare. Now Stingy will come in. Will get the kill. Yen gets the kill for himself. They just waited for the Tristana. The Everfrost slowing down the chase, but they have 2 kills once again, 1 and 10 on the Morgana now. That's a lot of deaths for 20 minutes. Charm misses here, Herald has been summoned in the mid lane, they could already be looking for the Dancing Herald push for the end. They get this inner tower with it. Could get another inner tower before could get the inner tower before the Herald falls. They are looking to be flanked by Organized Crisis. He's not got a full item. But if he can get a good flank, he could deal significant damage. Meanwhile, Lee Sin is doing the dragon, Mundo is pushing the bot lane. They just do whatever the hell they want on this map. 12,000 gold their lead at 20 minutes. And I'm a little bit wondering why they're pushing their lead harder, but they are getting towers. They do what's correct. They're not overly aggressive here. Now the lead is over 13,000. They get the Mountain Dragon as well. Just barely missing the Zenith Blade here.
Yeah, I mean, they probably are considering this 20-minute Baron into a game end. They keep finding picks like this on the Couchy, the game is not even gonna wait till the Baron comes.
He just jumps on him and kills him. Mirko will die as well, together with his support. 17 deaths on the bot lane of Sacramentum at 21 minutes. Not a good game from them, or for them. And now it looks like they're going to finally break open the base here at 20 minutes and a bit. Diana jumping in onto the Ahri. Everfrost will save Darkweave's life for just a moment. Must feel bad for him. He's been playing this game fairly well, 1-2 and 1 on the Ahri. Considering how bad the game is going for the team, that is a good KDA.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say that Sneagle and Darkweave really held themselves really well. The other side lanes just got absolutely basically blasted, if I'm being honest. And yeah, like, it is a game to forget for the side of Sacramento. You just like move on. You probably either try super hard with a positive attitude.
Oh, okay, good. Get the get.
No.
No. Gold goes.
No.
Really use that gold on the Ahri, but at least they get the shutdown onto the Tristana. And now Mieko has been caught by Imo. There's absolutely no way out. Lee Sin just auto-attacking this Ziggs to death here. They're giving the gold to Biargon, who is legendary on the Dr. Mundo of 8-0 and 2. They're just playing food at this point.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they get the Baron, and they are seemingly posturing either for a pick on mid or the Baron. Because this game should clearly be over any minute now. It's 12k gold lead. Basically an item ahead or an item and a half on every position. It shouldn't be taking that long.
He was ignited by Thrush Princess here to escape out, but the Baron is the target now. Tristana's on the way to it. And yeah, there's no way to contest that.
Yeah, and finally Urgot has the
Oh man, that's a bit, isn't it? Oh, Mega Inferno Bomb, not quite stealing the Baron, it's still on 1,000 HP.
Oh!
Fatal gets in and shields the Baron! That is an absolute miracle steal. Is it enough though to not lose the game already? They lost their support and their jungler, they gained the Baron, so this game could go a little longer yet.
That was absolutely beautiful. Seagull once again. Staying cool under pressure, staying cool from the tilt, keeping his mental together, and finding the Heartbreaker and the Smite steal. Really well played from him. He probably kept his team in for a few more minutes, but given the fact that they have 3 really weak members, the only thing that they have for them right now is the minions that make a waste clearing, who can easily be exploited. But that was just a really impressive Smite steal right there from Sneakle. Really well played by him.
Yeah. Probably got a Black Shield from Couchy there to not be phased by CC going to that Baron pit. That's still extremely well executed on the steal. It's not an easy thing to steal Baron from Lee Sin. It actually shouldn't be possible if the Lee Sin does everything correctly. But props to Nigel for that steal, yeah.
Yeah, it was just maybe a little bit too comfortable from the side of Imoke on the Lee Sin right there. Which is why Sneagle's like, yeah, because remember, like, a few patches ago, Smite used to scale with levels. Right
Yeah.
now it's
Good
like a
though.
flat 900, so that changed like from 11.8, I remember, or 11.9. And yeah, that just opens a lot more windows for smite stealing, and you can see like if you look at the scoreboard, Sneagle is still keeping up on levels with Imoke. That is a
Yeah.
really impressive feat, given how like
How
suffocated
good
he
the game
is.
was from the very beginning, yeah. We're going to see the fourth dragon of the game spawn in about 45 seconds. That will be the second mountain one. And so not sold quite yet. Um, Still, oh no, Darkweave has been caught. Fresh Princess is behind him. There comes the bomb from Tristana. Gets away with the ultimate, but it's just not enough. One more auto from Gans seals the deal. Another kill for the Tristana. Now Mako gets hit by another Moonfall. Flashes out. And that could be good damage, but the flank is coming in. Mako. Double kill for Jan. And the Mega Inferno Bomb on the tower not doing anything. And now Price is getting chased by the Argon in the 1v1. And it looks like you could actually do some damage here. The Argon not getting enough return. And here comes the Fury of Death. You will get one consolation kill right as the game is ending. Congratulations to BBUA. They remain undefeated despite dropping a single game at least to Sacramentum. That third game was an absolute statement.
That game was just a washout. They were a little bit pushed around in game two, but game three was nothing like that. It was a mental reset. They came in, every lane dominated, especially bot lane. Huge props for Fresh Princess and Yam for this game. This was an absolute beautiful play.
Yeah,
Everything was done really well.
bot gap this game, definitely. They put on an absolute clinic. Of course, all
Yeah,
of them played really well. Emoke and BR got also stingy on this Diana. They all had their highlight moments, but I think the bot gap was what defined this game from the very, very early stages. From that early 2-for-1 in level 2. And Fresh Princess remained a very, very high kill participation throughout most of the game. Has the highest still at the end with 22 out of 34. And yeah, these Zenith Blade and these Solar Flares, man, they were
they were
everywhere.
really dangerous. No, they took over the game. But huge props, absolutely huge props in this game. For Cool Sneagle and Darkweave for keeping like a conservative mental, staying cool in the game, trying to find the angle. Because that's my steal. Like you can see, like everybody in Sacramentum looks a little bit too tilted from that game. Like after like maybe like minute 10, that was really good on them for like having a good mental, conserving the game, trying to find an angle, and it was just good play from both the Ari and the Viego, despite like the absolute like snowball that came from the bot lane.
Yeah, and the top lane, to be fair. In game 2, Organized Crisis kept par with BR in the Argot versus Trundle matchup, but in this one, BR was in control from beginning to end. This Mundo was a terror. He went where he pleased. He went 8-1-3. He just died at the very end, just before the Nexus fell. To a fear beyond death. But yeah, also Emote Deathless on the Lee Sin was wherever he was needed.
Indeed, and it was just really beautiful play from the side of Belbias Academy right there. Just like taking the game, they did not let up Thresh Princess, find each and every angle every time. He found the weakness in the Morgana counter, and he found the spacing that, to be honest, Sacramento was playing that way against the Leona pretty badly, in my own opinion. Like there should be more spacing between the Morgana and the Ziggs right there.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
props, yeah, but props, absolute props there to Fresh Princess for finding that gap and finding that weakness and continuously exploiting it till they won the game.
Yeah, and as we said before, this third game, absolute statement from them. After losing the first single game they lost, this is how they follow it up. They should definitely be considered championship contenders for this Division 3 uh, if they hadn't been before already, right? They're 4-0 now, 8-1 in games. They are only playing Abstract Chaos and Neverland Voyages. To be fair, those are two teams that have been doing quite well so far. And this group has been blown a little bit open with Bilbao Academy as the favorites. Now behind them, the race for second and third will be tough for all the other teams. Neverland Voyages with their 3-2 record so far. Then Abstract Chaos only played 3 series so far, 2-1. Haven Academy also with 2 wins. Do have some catching up to do if they want to be considered for playoffs. And for Tobidi's side, it's going to be extremely tough to get even close to anyone else with 3 defeats already on the record. But you can never say never, right? This could be an extremely
you
interesting
can never
division.
say never. Like anyone from Haven Academy all the way to Sacramentum can make it into playoffs. It is a really close race right there. Maybe yes, there is a bigger chance for Abstract Chaos compared to everyone because they've played one less game than everyone else. But it is still a toss-up, and games have been really competitive. Aside from the games that Bill Bias has been playing, it has been looking really good in Division 3A. It's a really competitive bracket.
Yeah. All right. Then that will conclude our broadcast for today. Very soon. I would like to thank everybody for watching. I would like the teams for having for giving us something to watch and commentate. I thank you, Demise, for casting with me, and Travesty for being our trusted production member. We hope to see you again on Thursday when Divisions 1 and 2 are taking to the Rift. I have been Motojo. I have been with Demise. Any final words?
Thank you, everyone, and I hope to see much better games in 3A this division. And this particular bracket has been a really fun bracket to watch.
Yeah, let's hope Thursday's games deliver to what these ones have been today. All right, good night, everybody. Thank you very much for watching.
Good night.